Hello. In this video, I will explain the acid properties, mainly focusing on the atomicity and consistency. Okay, we will talk about acid properties, mainly atomicity and consistency in the acid. Okay, first of all, what is atomicity? Atomicity means it is like a all or nothing transactions. Okay, atomicity means all or nothing transactions. Okay, that means, for example, if you start the transaction until unless command, between the transaction there are many statements. Basically, what is transaction means? Set of statements act as a single unit. For example, here I will write the select command. Okay, for example, select select. I will write the commands like update, and I will write the commands like update. For example, this select command will execute it successfully. Update also executed successfully. But in this case, it will fail. So what happens means it will not insert the data. I mean, whatever the updated you wrote at the query, it will not done that thing. So it will fail. So previous statements also will need to, because this is the main motive for the atomicity. If once transaction started, if everything success only, the particular transactions will complete. Otherwise, it will roll back. Okay. Otherwise, it will roll back. Okay. Here, what happens means the InnoDB engine maintains the undo files and redo files for maintaining the transaction. So here the InnoDB engine maintains the undo files. Okay, the undo files also support for the MVCC. Okay, it also supports for the it also supports for the MVCC. MVCC stands for multi-version concurrency control. Okay, MVCC stands for multi-version concurrency control. Okay, now what happens means when the transaction started, the select command will execute, the update command will execute. So in this one, while updating, before values are stored in the undo files by the InnoDB engine. Okay, for example, if rollback happens, whatever the previous operations, I mean previous data in the undo files, it will set back. Okay, it will not actually update it if one update fail. Okay, these are the atomicity. Okay, for that first I will show you the undo files. Basically, it is not human readable, it is a binary code. The only InnoDB engines can understand the undo files. Okay, show variables like directory. It will show the location bar. Then I will open the command prompt. I will move to the directory. Now if I will open the directory list, here you can see the undo files. Okay, you can see the redo files also, InnoDB redo. Okay, this undo files is mainly responsible for storing the previous data before the transaction happens. Okay, for example, I will create one database. Create database as in. Now I will use the database. Now I will use the database. I will create one table. Create table atomicity id int primary key and name row 20. Now, okay, I created the atomicity table. Now I will feed the data. Okay, what I will do means first I will feed the data, then I will again create the transaction, then I will show you the transaction ID. After that, we will see the rollback. Then after rollback, what happens? Okay, insert into atomicity values. Values. For example, one. Yeah, second, which is okay. Now I inserted the data. Now what I will do means I will create a transaction. Created a transaction. Will select start from atomicity and then commit. Now if I run the transaction before committing, first I will show you the transaction ID. What happens means whenever you created a transaction, the inner DB engine can assign the transaction ID for that particular transaction. Okay, first I will show you that ID. Select it is in the information schema. As layer only I told you, right? Information schema dot InnoDB transactions table. In this, it will the InnoDB engine assigns one transaction ID for this transaction. Okay, for this transaction, the InnoDB engine assigns the transaction ID. Okay, now what we will do means if you commit this one, then no problem. For example, if I will update atomicity city set name equal to Toby where id equals to 2. Okay, where id equals to 2. Now what I will do means here before that one I will use the rollback. Okay, now I will start a transaction. What happens means it will select. Now I will update. Okay, if I select the atomicity Hemant and Toby. Now what I will do means for selecting command the rollback will not affect, right? It is for readability. I mean it is for read operation. For write operation we will do like rollback. Rollback. Now intentionally I am putting the rollback after the write command. Okay, I will change the name to Vijay. Now what it will do means first the name is the Toby. That name will stored in the undo file based on the transaction ID which was created by the InnoDB engine for that particular transaction. Now what happens means if I once hit the rollback, whatever the data before changing, I mean before after image, it will add directly into the table. It will roll back. Okay, if you will run the transaction again, it will roll back. Okay, if I select the atomicity table, the data Hemant and Toby, but it will not update the Vijay because it's roll back. Okay, this is mainly the atomicity. And if you come to the consistency means the table change from one valid state to another valid state. It is mainly for the constraints, triggers, and business logics. For example, if you can see here, this is the primary key. Okay, this is not null constraint. For example, if I will create a new table, create balances. Okay, create table balances id int primary key auto increment and balance decimal and not null constraint and check. This is check constraint. What I will check means balance greater than 0. Okay, now I created a table. Now for example, if I am inserting the data, insert into balances. For example, balance will be 30,000. Balance will be 30,000. Now if I will enter into balances, balance values 30,000. Okay, if I will enter, the data is adding into the balance table. Okay, select start from balances. Okay, 30,000. For example, if I want to enter the data which is less than 0, for example, 0 also it will not allow because the constant fails. These are the things for consistency. Okay, I hope you understand well atomicity and consistency. In the next video, I will tell you isolation and durability. Okay.